chosen ones. Your name has been in rooms you never entered, spoken by lips that smile to your face but curse you behind closed doors. Right now there are people who cannot stop talking about you, and they don't even understand why. It's become an obsession for them, a compulsion they can't control. Every conversation somehow circles back to you. Every plan they make has to include a strategy to block you. Every celebration they attempt gets interrupted by thoughts of your progress. They kept bringing up your name thinking they were plotting your downfall. But here's the part that's destroying them right now. They just found out the real reason your name won't leave their mouths. It wasn't their hatred driving the obsession. It was the universe using them as instruments of your elevation. Every time they spoke against you, they were actually speaking your destiny into existence. Every scheme they plotted became a stepping stone for your success. Their constant focus on you was never about them winning. It was about you ascending. And now that they've discovered this truth, everything in their world is collapsing. What you're about to hear will show you exactly how bad things got when the veil was pulled back and they realized they'd been divine assistants to your glory the entire time. Someone out there thought they were winning. They really believed they had successfully infiltrated every area of your life. These people were obsessed. Day and night they strategized about how to stagnate you, how to block you, how to make sure you never reached what was meant for you. They celebrated every tiny setback like it was their personal victory. They gathered information about you like it was their full-time job. They created drama that didn't exist. They spread lies to anyone who would listen. Some of them even pretended to be on your side while secretly feeding information to your enemies. This was coordinated, this was intentional, this was personal, but here's where it gets good. They finally realized something that's eating them alive right now. Everything they did was counterproductive. Every single move they made against you actually worked in your favor. Think about that for a second. They created all these obstacles thinking they were trapping you. Instead, they were building you a trespass lane to your destiny. When they tried to block you one way, your intuition guided you another direction, and you ended up exactly where you needed to be, even faster than if they had left you alone. Their sabotage became your shortcut. Their interference became your divine assistance. God was using their hate as fuel for your elevation, and they didn't even know it. Now they're trapped. See, they told so many lies about you that they have to keep maintaining those lies. Without the lies, their whole reputation crumbles. They manipulated situations, and now they have to face the people they manipulated. That lover they convinced to turn against you is now looking at them with disgust. That friend they poisoned against you is now seeing through the manipulation. If they tried to mess with your finances through spiritual attacks, the money burns through their hands before they can even hold it. Every dollar that comes to them is already spoken for by a debt they owe. They became slaves to their own schemes. The very things they did to harm you now control their entire existence. Let me tell you what's happening to these people right now. There's someone in particular who was closest to you, a soulmate energy, family member, lover, friend, someone who should have protected what you shared together. Instead, they let everyone peer into your personal business. They allowed others to influence decisions that should have been private between you two. They let jealous people whisper in their ear, and they listened. Now all those eyes that were watching are watching them fall apart. They thought having everyone's attention on your relationship would make them look important. Instead, everyone's watching them reap exactly what they sowed. The humiliation is real. The regret is suffocating them. They walk around with their head low because they know what they did, and they know everyone else knows too. These people are experiencing something heavy right now. It's like a demonic spirit of depression has wrapped itself around their neck. They feel inadequate. They feel the weight of the world crushing them. They set impossible standards for themselves, thinking they could actually stop what God ordained for you. They're getting harsh criticism from every direction. People are speaking to them in ways they never experienced before. Everything they thought they would accomplish by coming against you has proven impossible. They're stressed, they're stuck. They're starting to realize they were never prepared for your energy. They underestimated who they were dealing with. The universe doesn't play about you, and they're finding that out the hard way. And here's something that's going to make you shake your head. Justice is coming for them in reverse. Everything they tried to do to dim your light is backfiring spectacularly. They wanted to see you unhappy. They wanted to see your joy disappear. They were secretly competing with you over things you weren't even competing about. Some of them were just jealous of how happy you were. They saw you smiling and thriving, and it made them physically sick. So they got together. Yes, it was more than one person. There was a whole group that connected based on their mutual negativity toward you. They bonded over hating on you. They made plans together. They coordinated their attacks. But none of them realized they were digging their own graves. Here's what really triggered this whole operation against you. Something happened that set them off completely. Either you reconciled with someone they wanted you separated from, or a significant event took place in your life that they couldn't stand to witness, or you were celebrating something that made them absolutely furious. That's when they really got committed to their agenda. They couldn't let you have that win. They couldn't stomach seeing you happy, so they doubled down on their interference. They mobilized their little army of haters. They coordinated their efforts with renewed intensity. What they didn't understand is that the very thing that triggered them was a sign of your divine favor. Your reconciliation was ordained. Your significant event was destined. Your celebration was deserved. But their jealousy was so thick they couldn't see that fighting against your blessings was fighting against God. Now let me tell you about the different types of haters in this situation. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. You've got one hater who wants to be you. This person studies your moves, copies your style, tries to replicate your energy. They're obsessed with wearing your skin, metaphorically speaking. Then you've got another hater who actually wants to be with you or wants someone like you. This person is your secret admirer, hiding behind fake animosity. They don't really hate you. They hate that they can't have access to you. These two types of haters ended up working together without realizing their motivations were completely different. One genuinely despises you out of pure envy. The other is attracted to you, but you're not a fool, so they can't manipulate you. When these energies combined, they created this toxic situation, but neither one understood the other's true agenda. Now they're both looking at each other, realizing somebody wasn't being real about their intentions. The truth is starting to pour out now. One of them is especially sad right now. They're looking at a situation in reverse, a relationship that fell apart, a partnership that could have been beautiful. They're realizing they worked against themselves. They sabotaged their own happiness because they listened to people who didn't have their best interest at heart. They thought they were moving forward, but they were actually moving backward the whole time. They thought they were gaining influence and increasing their worth. They thought they had good support and valuable advice. They thought they were entering into something great, but it was all an illusion. Now they're sitting in the ruins of what could have been, and they only have themselves to blame. Want to know what really happened? These people got together under a bad influence. They connected through negativity. A karmic masculine was involved, stirring things up. There were people living together who created a toxic environment. They made a plan, and the plan failed miserably. Everyone involved is suffering now. Some are trying to figure out how to walk away from situations they created. Others are stuck because they can't leave without exposing themselves. The ones who live together are existing in misery. The energy in their space is terrible. They're looking at each other, knowing they both participated in something that destroyed their peace, and there's no easy way out. Trumpadamti. Now let me tell you about the lies. Somebody has been lying for so long they don't even want to lie anymore. But they have to keep lying, because if they stop, the truth will destroy everything they built. They're a slave to the lies now. They have to maintain the story. They have to keep everyone believing the false narrative, and it's exhausting them. Some are literally suffering from depression because of the weight of keeping up appearances. They can't even enjoy anything because they're constantly worried about being exposed. They see everything changing around them. They want this cycle to be over. They want to break free. But the devil has control now, and they put themselves in this position. They gave their power away when they chose to interfere with your destiny. And there's more. Someone was under serious manipulation. A bad influence convinced them to believe things about you that weren't true. They were living with difficult people who fed them poison daily. Greed played a role, lust played a role, materialism played a role. Negative ways of relating to others became normal for them. They thought they were taking themselves to a place of happiness and celebration, but they ended up exactly where they are now, which is nowhere good. They should have minded their own business. They should have stayed out of your personal affairs. Now they're laid out dealing with consequences they never imagined. Everyone who participated in this mess is facing their own version of karma, and it's not pretty. Let me break down what they're discovering. They're finding out hurtful secrets. Someone lied to make themselves look good. That's how low the vibration was around this whole situation. It was all about appearances. Someone was hell-bent on looking better than you. They wanted recognition. They wanted to be seen as the winner. So they lied about you to make themselves look superior. Now the lies are unraveling. People are discovering that someone wasn't who they claimed to be. There are secrets about love spells, secrets about going to the occult to manipulate situations, secrets about someone pretending they moved on when they were still obsessed, secrets about betrayal and deception on levels that are shocking even to the people who thought they knew what was happening. One person in particular is getting hit the hardest. They're facing a difficult reality that they can't escape. Something about their situation is causing them major stress. They're sad. They're discovering that someone they trusted was lying to them the whole time. They're feeling betrayed, but they don't know what to do about it. They're realizing someone lied about winning. Someone lied about their spirituality. Someone attacked your gifts and your truth because they were jealous. Now this person is finding out they were manipulated, they were used, they were turned against you based on complete fabrication. And the worst part is, other people knew it was all lies and said nothing. Those people kept quiet and watched this person make a fool of themselves. That's the betrayal that hurts the most. But let me tell you what they're really paranoid about right now. They're watching you online, scrolling through your pages late at night. They're nervous that all their business is about to be exposed everywhere. There are already accusations flying around about them. They're terrified of being fully exposed because everything is falling apart. They're sitting there, scrolling and stalking, trying to figure out your next move, trying to see if you know what they did, trying to gauge if the truth is coming out. This paranoia is eating them alive because they know what they've done. They know the role they played. They know the lies they told, and they know that truth has a way of surfacing no matter how deep you try to bury it. So they scroll, they watch, they wait for the other shoe to drop, and that anxiety is its own form of karma. There's also something about their family that you need to know. Family secrets are involved in this situation. The family knew what was happening. A family member was aware of the manipulation and said nothing. There's someone in their family who knew exactly why all this drama was being created around you. Someone who understood the jealousy, someone who saw the lies being constructed, and they stayed silent. Now this person is dealing with family issues because of it. The dynamics have shifted, trust has been broken, people are looking at each other differently. When family gets involved in your personal business and allows outsiders to dictate decisions, things get messy fast, and that's exactly what happened here. Family members who should have been protecting the relationship were instead allowing it to be torn apart. Now everyone's dealing with the fallout, Tompas en Pazampi. Here's where it gets really messy. This person ran into some people who told them their own business. Imagine that. They're out somewhere and people approach them with information about what's been said behind their back. Shocking news, disruptive revelations. They're hearing about how someone they trusted has been trashing them to anyone who would listen. They're finding out they've been the subject of gossip and ridicule while thinking everything was fine. They're learning that the person they sacrificed for has been talking about them with pure disgust, negative thoughts, harsh words, straight disrespect, and they had no idea. They've been looking at this person's face, trying to make things work, trying to keep them happy. Meanwhile, this person has been dragging their name through the mud the entire time. The illusion is shattering. They're realizing they were daydreaming about something that was never real. They should have been solving issues with you. They should have been protective of what you built together. Instead, they ignored red flags. They ignored your warnings. They chose to believe lies over truth. Now they're ignoring the person who deceived them, but it's complicated because they wanted their cake and they wanted to eat it too. They were being greedy. They wanted to have multiple options. They wanted to keep everyone around while making you feel like you weren't enough, but you were always more than enough. They just couldn't see it because they were blinded by manipulation and their own insecurity. Let me tell you what's eating them alive. They're stressed about an angry energy in their life, someone who is bitter and miserable and taking it out on everyone around them. This person sleeps around. This person causes drama everywhere they go. This person was pretending to be single while playing games, and now the truth is out. This person was talking negatively about them the whole time, making them look stupid, using them, and other people were watching it happen and enjoying the show. They feel like a sucker. They feel played. They dedicated themselves to something that was never real, and now they're facing the consequences of their choices. The harsh criticism is coming from all angles. People are telling them they weren't good enough for you. That hurts. That stings. Because deep down they know it's true. And here's what they're hiding from you. They still care. They're trying to hide it, but they still care deeply. They're pretending they don't love you. They're acting like they've moved on. But it's all a performance. They're dragging their feet when it comes to you because they're not over you. Not even close. They can't fully invest in anything else because you're still occupying space in their heart and mind. They keep trying to make situations work with the people they chose over you, and it keeps turning into drama. Every attempt to move forward without you becomes a disaster. They want to try again. They want to repeat the cycle with you, but they're hiding these feelings because they feel inadequate now. They don't think they're good enough to come back to you. They don't think you'll see them in a good light ever again. Let me tell you about the karma that's hitting. Someone got triggered recently. A situation is about to explode in their face. They dropped someone's name or someone popped up unexpectedly. Drama erupted. Threats were made. People feel intimidated and bothered. Someone realized they can't trust their so-called friend who has been in secret competition with them. There's talk about legal issues. Someone might face jail time over choices they made. Information that was supposed to stay locked away is coming out. Gossip that was supposed to remain secret is spreading. The person who kept quiet about the lies is now being confronted, and the person who realizes they were lied to is angrier at the one who stayed silent than the one who lied. Because how do you watch someone you care about be deceived and say nothing? Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. There's something specific being exposed. Rumors about illness, rumors about supernatural disturbances, rumors about someone's personal struggles being mocked and laughed at. These people were praying for this person's downfall. They were hoping for stress and hardship. They were wishing bad things into existence. And all of this is coming to light now. The gossip is being revealed. The pillow talk that should have stayed private is becoming public knowledge. Someone is extremely upset because they were showing people goodness. They were giving people money. They were being generous and kind. And this is how they were being treated behind their back. This is the karma, though. This is justice. What you do in the dark will always come to light. Let me break down the spiritual warfare that was happening. Someone was trying to control the narrative around you. They were putting thoughts in people's heads, planting seeds of doubt, making others question your character and intentions. They were working overtime to make sure anyone who heard your name heard it attached to something negative. This was calculated. This was spiritual manipulation at its finest. They wanted to control how people perceived you. They wanted to dictate the story. But here's what they didn't account for. You can manipulate people's minds temporarily, but you can't fight against someone's true essence forever. Eventually, the real you shines through. Eventually, people start questioning why the narrative doesn't match the energy. Eventually, the manipulation falls apart because it was built on lies, and that's exactly what's happening now. There's also something about the way they allowed others to dictate their decisions. This person you were connected to let other people make choices that should have been theirs alone. Decisions about love, about relationships, about partnerships. They let jealous people whisper in their ear about what they should do with you. They went along with bad plans that went against their own best judgment. They knew deep down they were making the wrong choice, but the pressure from others was too strong. Now they're sitting with that regret. They're realizing they went against themselves and didn't even know it in the moment. They blocked their own blessings. They sabotaged their own happiness. They victimized themselves by giving their power away to people who didn't have their best interests at heart, and now they can't take it back. While all this chaos is unfolding in their lives, you need to understand what's happening in yours. Someone is still trying to block you. There's a jealous energy that hasn't given up. They want it to be hard for you to get what's yours. They don't want you to have that contract. They don't want you to receive that money. They don't want that emperor or empress energy to approach you with an offer. Even now they're working behind the scenes trying to interfere. But here's what you need to know. They can't hide anymore. The Seven of Swords energy means all their schemes are spilling out. Everything they tried to keep secret is being exposed. The illusion is clearing. People are seeing them for who they really are. Everything that was done in darkness is coming into the light. Your lover can't hide what they did anymore. Betrayals are being discovered. Things that happened in private are becoming public. Someone was doing the most to cause you stress and entrapment and blockage. They didn't want you happy. They attacked your peace. They even tried to attack your growth and your creativity. Some went as far as vandalizing property or attacking your physical possessions. But judgment is here. Justice is here. Karma is here. All of it is being balanced right now. They're drowning in regret. They're facing legal consequences. They're experiencing the weight of everything they put into motion. And here's the beautiful part. People are seeing through the fake now. Someone who tried to outdo you can't hide their true nature anymore. Everyone sees it. Everyone knows. That person feels like you're flaunting your victory in their face, but really, you're just existing in your truth, and it highlights their lies. People know about their financial issues now. People know about their love spell work. People know about how they tried to paint you as the villain. Someone had enough. Someone got tired of being robbed and manipulated. The truth poured out and now there's no going back. Someone just wanted to look good and that desperation is what exposed them. So let me leave you with this. You won, not because you fought dirty, not because you played their game. You won because you stayed true to yourself while they lost themselves trying to destroy you. You won because divine justice doesn't sleep. You won because God used their attacks as fuel for your elevation. They thought they were making progress, but they were actually building your platform. They thought they were blocking you, but they were removing obstacles you didn't even know were in your way. They thought they were winning, but they were setting themselves up for the most humbling experience of their lives. Right now they're paranoid that you've moved on to bigger and better. They're scared you're going to reject them forever. They're terrified you might find someone who actually values you, and honestly, they should be scared because you're stepping into something powerful. You're walking into the fulfillment of promises that were made to you before you were born. You're aligning with your true path, and everyone who tried to stop you is watching from the sidelines, dealing with the consequences of their choices. Here's something you need to understand about what they're feeling right now. They feel inadequate when it comes to you. They don't feel good enough to come back. They don't think they can recover from what they did. They know they gave you a weak version of themselves. They know they folded too easily. They acted like they had a strong backbone, but when pressure came, they crumbled like paper. They let others control them. They let fear drive their decisions. Now they're looking at themselves with disgust because they know they could have been stronger. They know they could have protected what you built together. They know they should have stood up for you, but they didn't. And that cowardice is haunting them every single day. They feel like they lost something they can't get back. They feel like they threw away something irreplaceable, and they're absolutely right. The harsh criticism they're receiving is coming from unexpected places. People are telling them they weren't good enough for you. They're hearing comments about how they fumbled the best thing they ever had. They're being told they're not worthy of someone like you. And you know what makes it worse? Some of this criticism is coming from the same people who encouraged them to turn against you in the first place. The same people who whispered poison in their ear are now looking at them like they're pathetic, because those people were never really on their side. They were just using them as pawns in their agenda against you. Now that the dust is settling, everyone can see what really happened. Everyone can see who the real villain was, and the person who turned against you is left holding the bag while everyone else points fingers. Their next move is predictable. Some of them want to put in work to bring things back to where they were. They can't take the sadness anymore. They're focused and intense about trying to fix what they broke. They're saying they have to try, but here's what you need to remember. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. You don't owe anyone a second chance just because they finally woke up. You don't owe anyone your energy just because they realize they made a mistake. Your focus needs to stay on your path, your contracts, your growth, your destiny. Because here's the truth, they're all learning too late. You're protected, you're covered, you're chosen. Everything that was meant for you will reach you. Every attack against you will backfire. Every lie told about you will be exposed. Every door they tried to close will open wider than before. Every relationship they tried to destroy will either be restored properly or replaced with something better. You're not losing in this situation. You never were. What looked like loss was really preparation. What felt like betrayal was really protection. What seemed like the end was really just the beginning of your greatest chapter. So, chosen one, let them keep talking, let them keep plotting, let them keep trying. None of it matters. Their words have no power over your destiny. Their actions can't stop what God ordained. Their energy can't penetrate your protection. You're walking into overflow while they're walking into consequences. You're stepping into peace while they're stuck in chaos. You're moving into purpose while they're trapped in regret. This is how divine justice works. This is how karma operates. This is how the universe balances itself. And when they finally see you thriving without them, remember this moment. Remember when they thought they had won. Remember when they celebrated your struggles. Remember when they gathered together to plot your downfall. Then smile, knowing that every single thing they did became the very thing that pushed you into your destiny. Their hate became your fuel. Their blocks became your shortcuts. Their attacks became your testimony. You didn't just survive what they put you through, you transformed it into power. That's what chosen ones do. We don't just overcome, we transmute. We take the poison and turn it into medicine. We take the attacks and turn them into armor. We take the setbacks and turn them into setups for major comebacks. They tried to write your ending, but they forgot you're not the author. God is, and the story being written for you is far greater than anything they could imagine or try to prevent. So walk in that, own that, embody that. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The truth is coming out. Justice is being served. Your name is being cleared, your path is being opened, your destiny is manifesting, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Not the haters, not the manipulators, not the liars, not the saboteurs. None of them have the power to derail what's meant for you. This is your season. This is your time. This is your moment. Everything that was stolen is being returned with interest. Everything that was blocked is flowing freely now. Everything that was delayed is accelerating. You're about to see why you had to go through what you went through. You're about to understand why certain people had to show their true colors. You're about to walk into rooms that will make all the pain make sense. And when you do remember that you didn't get there by accident, you got there because you were chosen for it before you even knew it existed. They found out why they kept bringing up your name, because your name carries weight in the spiritual realm, because your presence shifts atmospheres, because your energy threatens their comfort zones, because your light exposes their darkness, because your truth challenges their lies, because your growth highlights their stagnation, because your peace reveals their chaos, because your joy disrupts their misery, because you're everything they pretended to be, and now they're paying the price for trying to dim what God made to shine. You don't need to carry their karma. You don't need to manage their consequences. You don't need to fix what they broke in themselves by coming against you. Your only job is to keep rising, keep shining, keep walking in your purpose, keep honoring your path, keep protecting your peace, keep building your empire, keep loving yourself fiercely, keep trusting divine timing, keep knowing that you're exactly who you were created to be. This is not the end of your story. This is barely the beginning. What's coming for you is so much bigger than what you lost. Who's coming for you is so much better than who left. Where you're going is so much higher than where you've been. You're not just recovering from what they did. You're catapulting past it into dimensions of blessing they can't even comprehend. And the best part is you don't have to force it. You don't have to fight for it. You just have to stay aligned and watch it unfold. So, chosen one, stand tall. You survived the attack. You passed the test. You won the battle. Now step into your victory. Step into your power. Step into your purpose. Everything you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to stop looking back at who didn't choose you and start walking forward into everything that already chose you before you were born. This is your time. Own it,